Your way up here. And then Amy McCampbell here is going to lead and guide us in these beautiful questions.
So notice I'm not the crazy one.
I mean, I beg you to.
It's like people know you, honey. Hi, guys.
Hola.
Hey, guys. So I'm going to try to move around and not be in the way of everybody. And then I was so short, I had to make sure that the camera would work because, you know, it's anonymous being here and all. Isn't that scary? Yeah. It's like you come and you hear the screeching sound. Oh, God, there she is. Anyway, we're really excited to have you guys on the stage. I know a lot of people have had some questions. And you all did a great job. I'm really excited. Some are fun-loving and everything, and some are really hard. But I'm really glad that you asked those hard questions and that you feel like this is a safe place to do this. So they are a tad prepared, but it's going to be fun to hear what they have to say, especially Corey and Adam. I would like it, just in case people don't know, or if it's your first time, if you don't care, just really quick, your name and how long you've been clean. We'll start with this good-looking dude.
Hi, thank you very much.
She didn't say fun looking.
My name's Adam.
Woo!
Hi, Adam.
Hi, Adam. What was the question? How long you been clean?
4 years, 7 months, and
But it kind of messed with his brain.
I'm a Leo. I like walk.
It's not that kind of night. It's not the dating game show.
Already did that.
I'm Deanna. I've been clean. Have never been addicted. I lead the prayer team here at...
She's addicted to praying for all of us.
Yes.
My name is Corey, sometimes Cody, just depends on how much trouble I'm in with people. No, my name is Corey. I've got 7 years, 6 months, 7 months, 21 days, 10 hours. No, I'm just playing. I don't know. It is 7 years, though.
My name's Kayla, and I took a shower this morning, so I'm good. I'm freshly clean. No, I haven't had a drink of alcohol for over 2 years now.
Yeah.
I'm Bobby. I've been clean 11 years.
Yeah.
He also took a bath.
He also took a bath. So Bobby's always fun. If you need somebody to talk to, really talk to him because, I mean, who can say that the mafia made him go to rehab? I'm just saying. So guys, we're going to start. We're going to go ahead and start. Y'all okay with that? Woo! Yeah. And then if we get through with these and have a little bit of time, I'm going to open it up to the floor. I'll come to you. You can raise your hand and we'll ask a question. But the first question, okay, actually this could be a 2-point or a 2-parter. And I'm going to say you've got what is your worst mistake ever and what is your best decision ever. And I'm going to preface this with you cannot say your worst decision is picking up the needle or the bottle, and the best decision was giving your life to Christ or putting down the needle or the bottle, because we all know that. And I'm going to open this up to let all of you answer, because I think that's a good, quick, easy one. We'll start with Bobby and go down the line.
Well, I'm 66. I can't remember all the stupid stuff I've done.
This year, just this year.
I guess that the best thing that happened to me, they gave me a month to live 11 years ago. God put it in my hand then. What are you going to do with it? And 11 years later, I'm sitting here talking to you guys.
Well, I'm going to actually go with a more recent, just overall bad choice. And that's just not loving who I am and who God made me to be. And I am working on that so hard right now. And it's just freed me up so much just in the past few months.
So worst one for me was probably choosing the college that I went to. Not that the college itself was bad, but I felt like if I had stayed more local, that I would have completed. I was super homesick. So I feel like if I had stayed close by, that things would have been a little bit different. Best decision, other than getting married to my beautiful wife.
Oh, they just had a weekend together.
Yeah.
All the feels.
Yeah, she won't. She won't. Best decision, probably going through with rehab. So I went to Las Vegas for rehab, and choosing to even being in the airport going down, still choosing to, hey, I'm gonna see this through instead of just running through Vegas going wild. So that was probably one of my best decisions.
Good, man.
Well, the worst decision I ever made was when I married my first husband. Right?
I mean, that happens. That you can get
It
clap for
happens.
that.
And I think the biggest part of that was I didn't ask God if he was the right person before I married him. And he wasn't. So I would have done a lot better if I had asked. And I think the best decision I ever made was when I became obedient to the calling God had on my life.
Nice.
So my worst decision, well, I married my ex-wife high. That wasn't a great idea. Our pastor even tried to stop the wedding. These are facts. The best, I have a real one for that one, but the best decision I ever made was one, going on a date when I had no desire to go out that night. I got to hang out with Amy, and we ended up being married ever since, so thanks for that. Also, one of the best decisions I made was, it was the best and the worst. So I didn't believe in the system. I thought going to rehab was going to be a joke, but it was one of the best decisions.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys are crushing it so far. Who wants to answer tips and pointers for living a blessed life?
Serve.
I like it.
So if you serve, you get outside of yourself. So you're not really thinking about your serve. Tithe. And tithe is given 1/10 of your income, what you make, to God. And if you don't believe it, I challenge you to do it, because I was challenged, and I'm telling you right now, it was one of the best decisions I've made, and I have seen nothing but fruitful things coming from serving and tithing, those two things.
I like it. Absolutely. So let's have a little fun, because I didn't see this one. It was on the back until now, so this is fun. What's your nickname? Did you have, and what was your nickname in addiction, and how have you redeemed it? What's your nickname now?
Pass. You're up, Cody.
Wait,
passing
what were
'cause
those
you can't
things
say
you
yours.
weren't allowed to say on stage?
All right, we're going to pass on that one. We all
Yeah, I was
have a
supposed to say,
pass.
I didn't have a nickname during all that.
No, one of my fears is I'd say mine, someone stand up and be like, "That was you?"
Be a great time to make amends.
There's 2 exits.
Yeah, I'm going to move on because that might be true. Funny but true. I don't know. All right. Okay. Anybody want to answer what's your favorite verse?
Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength.
I like it. You done? Anybody else?
I'll ditto that, actually.
You dig on it?
I ditto.
Oh, ditto. I was like, I'd dig on that. I'd dig on that too.
I actually have a kind of.
I don't know what era that's from, but dig on that.
I have a kind of sidestep story with that, if that's okay, like 2 seconds.
Come on.
Okay, so mine is Psalm 46, verse 5, which says, God is within her, she will not fall, God will help her at the break of day. And I feel like that verse was given to me directly by God because I had a dream that I got it tattooed behind my ear, and I'd never heard the verse before. I woke up the next morning, and I was like, that was the weirdest dream. Why would I dream that? And then it hit me.
And why does my ear hurt?
And then it hit me that it was because God knew I would remember what it was in that moment. So I like immediately ran and found a Bible and flipped open and found it.
I love it. Did you get the tattoo?
No.
So who is your spiritual guide to light your way along the path? God. It reminds me of like when, oh, sorry, you're going to say something spiritual.
Who was our guide?
Spiritual
Rachel
guide.
Stevens.
Love it. That is a pastor's wife worship leader at Faith Promise.
For me, Robert the Bruce.
Mine was Pastor Kevin Simcoe.
What?
I'd say mine was probably my sponsor, Brian. He's a nut, and he has a past similar to my own, so he's helped me work out a lot of my own demons.
I like it.
For the beginning of my stage, mine was Heather Duncan.
Miss Heather.
She's going to watch this, I know it.
A moment of silence for Heather.
She's not dead.
She's not. She's just living the best life, blah, blah. Oh, Corey, this is so serious. Are you ready?
Nope. Oh, gosh.
Corey, how do you get your curls so soft and lush-like?
I also want to know the answer to that.
Me too.
I mean, Adam's been working with gel and stuff. It's just not working out.
So you don't wash your hair for about a week. No, I'm just playing. No, I mean, you don't wash it all that often. I mean,
Okay.
you put some Cantu in it, it's leave-in conditioner, you're good to go. You just roll with it.
That's fun. Okay, well, this one is for me. What's the secret for keeping a relationship with someone who you were once in addiction with? Okay, everybody went, oh.
And they all looked over at me.
So I'm going to talk, and then if you want to add anything that you can, or we can take your silence for agreement with your wife. I'm just kidding. You can talk if you want to. So what's the secret for keeping a relationship with someone who you were once in addiction with? Well, just a kind of precursor, mine and Adam's relationship. Adam didn't get to see my fun stage of experimenting with drugs and the crazy destructive path that I had taken. When we met, we partied, but it wasn't like drug related. He was starting to do that on his own, and I did not know. However, I would go with this and say to keep a relationship is to do it alone, but together, if that makes any sense. So when I found out, I had a very good friend who called him out and said, you know, Amy, your husband is an addict, but that's okay. We love you, we love him, and we're here to help you no matter what. And I got really super calm, and that was probably really scary for a lot of people. In fact, she called me later to make sure I hadn't murdered him. But I went home, and I said, you're going to tell me how long you've been doing what you've been doing, and if you want help. Because if you want help, I will go to the depths of hell and fight with you to bring you out. But if you don't, you're going to have to leave, because I can't watch you kill yourself. I was super close to the Lord at that time. I still am. I don't mean at that time. But it just so happened that I had done a lot of studying God's Word, and God had prepared me for a lot of what was going to happen, because it was because of God's love and because He was my best friend first that when I watched him go through withdrawal, and that's probably a feeling that you may have remember, but when I watched him go through withdrawal, I did not see, God, I wish he'd just clean it up, make him just stop. I saw, holy cow, this is somebody I love so much who is in so much pain, and he can't help it. And having that compassion God brought it to my attention to see somebody other than myself, to not focus on my hurt, to not focus on what he had done, or what I had done, because we were left with nothing. We were about to lose our house. We had one car to our name. That was it. So it was never a thought of, I hate you because. It was, we got to get you better. And then through that, as any loving wife did, and stalked the plane to make sure he made it to California to rehab, the first thought I had was, I just want to get drunk. I just want to pass out. I just want to forget this ever happened. Where's the nearest liquor store? And that's when I said, oh, well, you need to realize you've got your own issues. You've got your own hurt habit to hang up. And you were told as a kid, always watch, because you've got alcoholism in your family. There you go. You always need to be careful. And that's when I woke up to realize every self-destructive thing I had done led because of alcohol. So I went to 12 steps separately. Adam went through 12 steps separately. We came together and really made amends with each other, talked about the hard things, weren't easily offended, let each other say their pain, and work on that together. So everything we did was separate but together. And it was scary. It was, he came home from rehab and he looked really good. He was 190-something pound, little skinny thing, and he came back and he was like, ooh. And I was like, hello. And luckily he was too, because I was like, is sober Adam going to even like me? He thinks I'm funny when he's hot, when he's awake. Is he going to like me now? So
she asked me, she said, what did they do to you? I said, they got rid of the heroin.
Yeah. So I hope that answers a little bit of that question. Do you have anything you want to say?
I think I'd like to say, on that situation, when I got out of treatment, I'm still jacked up. I can't hang around anybody that uses. So I do not hang. You all are my hangout people that I hang around. I had to change everything in my lifestyle. So when I joined Faith Promise Church, I became friends with people I hadn't even known. And this is where I come every Monday night. Corey will tell you I've been coming 11 years. And Pastor Kevin will tell you I'm still jacked. I just don't drink and drug today, but I still got a long way to go. My addiction lasted 38 years. So it's, as Pastor Kevin tells me, I ain't done anything yet. So, but I had to change everything.
Yeah.
I would say if you want the in my opinion, in my own personal opinion.
Oh, he didn't think what I said was right. That's what he just said. I'm just kidding.
If you want the secret to living a blessed life, this is my experience. When Satan tells you to be quiet, to not talk about your addiction, to stay quiet, to stay in your chair, to not get up and get your commitment chip, don't listen to him. Get up, make a noise, be loud, be abrasive, talk about it, get it out there. That's the only way it'll get stopped.
That's right. You got to call it out. All right. How do you know God is real? Because I can't seem to connect with anything.
I think the majority of people would agree. So you're going to experience God in your own very unique way. Because everyone in this room is different. So everyone's going to experience God differently. You're going to see God work in your life differently. For example, so if you come here at all on the weekends and you hear Pastor Chris speak, he was in a hospital room, said, God, I'm done, use me, and instantly he was done. Pastor didn't go to a rehab, he didn't go through a 12-step program, he was done in his word and has been in ministry for 35 years. For me, that wasn't my route. My route was, I don't know if I'm quite done, but I know I need help. So I went to rehab, and I was still questioning, even coming out of rehab, is this something that I still want? Like, I don't do well with feelings, and so, doing drugs you just suppress all that. And so I didn't know. So for the first year, I was still on the fence. But after, coming here for the past 7 years and hearing story after story and coming on staff and listening to the people on staff, their story and their past hurt, habit, or hang up, whether it was something similar to ours here or something different. But I've seen God move in so many different people's lives that I can't tell you that he's not real or fake, because I've seen too much growth and happiness and family coming back together and restoration in so many of you. And just even this year, baptizing people back in March. I've seen you all change. I've seen the growth. So for you to tell me there's not a God, I challenge you. I look in the mirror every day and I'm like, hey, thank you for saving me. Thank you for what you've done for me. So
I'll tell you this. I know there's a God. I had a severe illness. I had fibromyalgia for 15 years. I was called a drug seeker. I was called a lot of things by doctors. A lot of doctors wrote me off. I went through a lot of ups and downs about giving up hope and crying out, yelling at God, why are you letting this happen? What have I done? Questioning whether he heard me, all of that. And then one day I decided, well, the best I can do is be an example for other people and show that you can praise God in the midst of anything.
Amen. Amen. So, Deanna.
When I chose to do that, 2 years later, I was supernaturally healed of that fibromyalgia right here at Faith Promise.
All right, so Deanna, let's go. I was trying to make sure people could see your little self.
She just called me big.
Yeah. So going with that, though, I do have a question for you. What is a spiritual awakening, in your opinion? How do we have that?
I think, like Corey said, I think we all have a spiritual awakening in a different way. Technically, it's when you have a revelation about something. To me, it means when you have a revelation that God is real. That is a spiritual awakening. What you do with that afterwards is where the real awakening happens. You can come to church every day, every Sunday. You can come on Wednesdays. You can do all of that and know that God is real. But if you don't take that and run with it, you don't have the awakening.
Love it. Good answer. Love it. All right, Corey.
She's winning.
She is winning. Sorry. I didn't mean to sabotage you all, but...
There is a point system. She's winning.
Not that we're any competitive or anything.
at all.
Corey, how do you feel about people who do things like smoke or drink or some other sin, but still serve in leadership, such as praying at the altar or leading a small group?
Show me a person who doesn't. I don't know about you all. The Bible clearly says, for all have fallen short of the glory of God. For all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Everybody's still going to have this hurt, habit, or hang up, right? Everyone's still going to sin. And you can't judge one person's sin for another, right? So if I lied, right, that's a sin. If Adam goes and kills someone, that's a sin. Which one's worse?
This is being filmed.
What was your nickname? No, I'm just playing. If you answered that they're both equal, you're correct. It doesn't matter, right? The Bible doesn't judge one greater than the other. That's right. So people are still going to struggle, but that doesn't mean that they're not in the role that they're supposed to be in. You never know what's going to happen during that time. And so for me, I gave up chewing tobacco 3 years ago. But for me, I was convicted of that. And I've still got my own hurt habit or hang up that I'm dealing with. I mean, I'm overweight, guys, and I'm not doing anything about it. That's a sin, right? But I gave up dipping 3 years ago because I was convicted of it. I knew that night, granted, I did not want to do it, and I saw it in slow motion when I threw it in the trash. I was like, no. But I did it, and that was 3 years ago. Do I still crave it? Absolutely. Absolutely. But it doesn't make me want to go back out and go get it. Yes, it still pops in my head. Drugs still pop in my head. I mean, I have phantom smells and drainage and stuff like that, and I'm like, ooh, okay. But I know what to do with it, right? You got to pause for that moment and say, hey, you got to take this, let this pass, because I don't want anything to do with that. I know what that life was like, and that is not worth it. So, I mean, if you're sitting here pointing at other people's sin out, that's biblical too. Hey, get that big stick out of your own life, your own experience, and stop looking at the speck in mine, please.
Well, all right. All right. Who wants to answer this one? How do I rectify or mesh my relationship with a God of my understanding and my relationship with the Christian God? So how do I mesh my relationship with the God of my understanding? So all of us have been to an NA and AA. We know the God of our understanding, our higher power. How do we mesh that relationship with what we do in Celebrate Recovery, our God, the highest power?
I'll answer that one, and I'll try to. Very simple. I played golf for a living, so I can count to 4 or 5 real easy. My relationship with Jesus Christ, and that's who my whole recovery is based around Jesus Christ. That's my higher power. What Fred or Tim may say next to me, my relationship's with Jesus Christ. I was telling Corey, we were talking the other day, that to do what we do in this room, if you do not have a relationship with Jesus Christ, this is impossible to do. Like I said, I was a drug addict and alcoholic for 38 years, and until I met Christ, I was fighting a losing battle. So every day I have to remember that that's who I got to follow. And not any of these idiots I run around with or anything like that, but Jesus Christ. And that might not answer the question.
No, I like that. I think that I was not supposed to speak, but I think I'm going to, because I was just talking to a friend about this not too long ago, and I think that the key word that we get mixed up with is of our understanding. When we try to keep God in a box of what our understanding of Him is, we're never going to let go and learn how to trust the God who is above all things, is, who is so amazing, the great I am, who is everything, more than we could ever fathom. I mean, when we put those constrictions on God, we start to, keep Him in a box and keep Him in a relationship like we may have had with our father and some of our earthly father, and sometimes that's not the best, So I think that's a lot of that too.
Amen. Yeah. No, that's good.
All right, I haven't heard from Kayla, so I'm going to ask you this one. Yeah.
Rude.
Yeah, act like you're so quiet. Where is Ryan? He's laughing. Yeah. So as leadership team people, you make a relationship with God seem easy. Is it? Do you have problems, and how do you deal with them? How is that relationship with God?
Yeah,
Glad
Kayla.
she got that question.
Oh, don't worry. I would have had this one anyways, because goodness.
You're my blog queen. You can say this.
That's true. Okay, so if anyone thinks that my life looks pretty, oh my goodness. What channel are you on? Because I need to see that. That's not what I'm seeing. So for me, I challenge myself daily. No matter how bad I feel, I read my Bible. No matter how bad I feel, I at least say, hey, God, here I am. And I may not have the most eloquent prayers sometimes, and honestly, I think I pray like a 5-year-old half the time, but that's okay. So I'm not like getting out of bed first thing in the morning being like, hey, here's this hour-long prayer time, because I have 3 children, y'all, and it's a mess. But when I have issues that I face,
Corey said, I'll just take your 3 and raise
I know,
you
I was
5.
thinking the same thing once. Once I said it, I was like, oh, wait. So for me, I have to just be really honest with myself all the time. Like, I check my feelings on everything. And so that way, whenever I do have problems arise, I have this understanding of, obviously I can't handle it on my own, but can I handle this to an extent? What extent is that? And where is my limit of, not necessarily like, I don't struggle as much with wanting to drink anymore. That's not really a thing for me. But as far as taking things out on other people, or really just doing God some injustice. So the biggest things is it's just praying and being there. Whether it's a beautiful, long 30-minute prayer, or it's 2 seconds of saying, hey, God, glad you got me.
Yeah. Good stuff. See, you knew. So going with that, who wants to share just a quick thing? What does your daily time with God look like? And I would like to hear from, that from all of you all, just really quick, because you all lead different lives. You have different things going on. You're in different seasons of your life. So go, Adam.
Begging and pleading. I get yelled at for a living, so.
No, what does your daily time with God look like? Not at work.
Honestly, I have about a 35, 40-minute drive to and from work every day, and my steering wheel knows way too much about me. I listen to my podcast. I listen to Outcast. 3 of you. I do my most of my praying there, and depending on the day I've had, it just depends on how long that prayer is. I mean, really and truly. But that's the best time I have. I'm alone in my car, and I can beg, plead, kick, scream, cry, and the only people that care is the guy at the red light next to me, and I really don't care what they have to say. So, yeah.
That's good. Thank you. Sorry. Miss Deanna?
Mine, it's different every day. Some days I have 30 minutes to sit down and get into the Word and actually study it and cross-reference and all of that. Most days I don't. And some days, quite frankly, I just don't take the time. I have the time, I just don't take it. But I will try to turn on the Bible app, and I will try to listen to that day's studies while I'm doing something else, so that at least I'm getting fed. And the other thing I do is just Christian music all the time. I don't listen to any other type of music.
What's up? Go, preacher man.
So I would tell you, probably a little over a year ago, it was fantastic. I had my own little spot. It was every morning. It was great. I would tell you now, like through last year up to this point, like I didn't really have one last year. It was, I don't know, COVID took a turn for me that I didn't really quite expect, and I wasn't around people, right? And so I couldn't lean on anybody, and I'm really bad about reaching out. And it's not really a pride thing, it's just I suck at communicating. I'm awful. And so, I'm really hard on myself. So I expect this perfect quiet time, right? I expect to wake up at 6 o'clock and with this expectation of I'm going to have an hour of God time and it's going to be perfect and I'm going to be alert, and it just doesn't happen all the time. It just doesn't. I've got 5 kids. And so sometimes I want to go to bed at 10 o'clock. That's my bedtime. I'm old, guys. 10 o'clock, I want to go to bed. But sometimes I can't. I've got 2 little girls that, took part of my not owlness that I used to have and want to stay up, or they get up at 2:45. And so I don't get a great night's sleep, or I start doing it. And here's where I think a lot of parents mess up. Instead of inviting my kids into my quiet time and teaching them how to have a quiet time, I'm like, you're going to ruin it. So I'm not going to do it. Raw and real, guys. Raw and real. That's legit how I feel sometimes. Just because I'm on staff does not mean I have this perfect quiet time. I don't. I just talked to my boss about it today. I do my quiet time 4 to 5 times during the week. I don't know. There's 7 days for those of you who may have forgotten. And I beat myself up all the time. But I don't let it keep me down. Right? If I don't do it one day, get back on that pony the next day. It's okay. He just wants a relationship with you. And it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be the same every day. But keep doing it. Keep pushing forward.
Yeah. Follow that, Kaylin.
I'll try. So actually, and I'm glad that you said that, because that's exactly why I just come to God with what I have. Because even if it isn't an hour to really break down Bible verses or 30 minutes of solid prayer time, it's still something. I'm still putting something into that relationship. And although it's not my favorite thing, I don't like not having this time. But quite frankly, I have the worst spirit of rebellion sometimes. And I'm like, you know what? I just don't feel like it. Of course, obviously, that's not okay. But we actually do make sure that we're incorporating our kids into our quiet time. And so that way, our kids have the tools they need to be able to take these things to God. And then I do listen to my reading every single day, but I'm like you, Deanna, half the time it's when I'm just doing something. But I need to make sure I stay on track. And then really, we listen to nothing but Christian music just to keep that, keep God in the forefront of our minds at all times. And I'm going to kind of brag on my husband a little bit and be, all cutesy. My husband reads to me every single night. He reads me the Bible every single night.
Woo-woo.
Yeah, look,
that's a man right there, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right, ladies.
Good job, Brian.
Single ladies aspire for that kind of husband. He
got a
does.
little
For the past
red
2
in the
years,
face.
he has read, he used to read 1 chapter of the Bible to me until we got all the way through it. Now he reads a devotion and verses to me every
So
single
much
night.
better than green eggs and ham.
Yes,
Like
it is.
I'll stop.
Bobby, I'm sorry. We're gonna keep going. Sorry.
I was blessed when I went to treatment 11 years ago. I was going to hell. I didn't know Christ. I didn't know anything about the church or the Bible. I went to Hope Center Ministries in Waverly, Tennessee for 8 months. And that's where I met Christ. And I was blessed there. The first thing we did in the mornings, we hit our knees and prayed. Last thing we did at night was we prayed. The first thing we did in the morning after we prayed was in the Bible. So I've been blessed that first thing I do before I hit the get and go, before I stock the beer coolers, is I pray. I have to be, I talk to God probably all day because I need his help. I'm still messed up. But Ann will be the first one to tell you I work with at Get and Go that I made a point to say that Christ is the only reason I'm here today. So I try not to preach to anybody. And Adam made a good point that I have about 30 minutes to work, so it's a good time to talk to God and get kind of ready for the day. And I'm blessed to do that, but it's.
So I'm going to take a couple of these because and kind of mesh them all together because they deal with groups and serving. So just listen to them all, and then whoever wants to ask. So there are, hey, what if I want to start a group? There's loved ones of emotional disorders, people with emotional disorders. There are groups of, hey, how about more like a Bible study with a female support group? And that person wants to know when they get their group leadership shirt. But so different groups. There is when are you too old to lead a group? And there is how long do you have to be clean to be able to serve? So we're going to.
You're never too old to lead a group.
Amen. I was waiting on it. I mean, what is the song? If I'm not dead, you're not done.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I think the best thing that happened to me here at Faith Promise is that my wife and I, we got involved when he got here. I started greeting here with Heather, who's not with us tonight, but I was able to.
Again, she's not dead.
No. But it kind of made it to where I felt like I was part of the group, and I knew the people coming in at night, and I could talk to. And let me tell you guys understand what we go through. My next door neighbor has no clue what I go through, but you guys that they're alcoholics or addicts, you understand what I go through. And that's why I come on Monday night. But when I started greeting, to go back to what Amy said, that got us involved and got me involved. Then I met people, and then it just grows from there. And then I had Corey first night. He came in my group. So I was blessed with him. And so, it's, guys, we're all in this together. And you're the only guys that I know.
So to lead a group, you have to go through leadership launch. That's something that we started doing roughly a year ago now. It kind of takes you through what our groups look like, what the format looks like, kind of how to lead a group. It helps you, it trains you, it gives you tools. Clean time. Guys, you need to spend the first year of your recovery on your recovery. Amen. No one else's. If you got 6 months, I understand. At 6 months, I was gung-ho. I was ready to do everything I could. But I don't think I could have handled the burden or the weight of leading a group at 6 months. So have a year of recovery. Focus on yourself that first year. You were selfish in your addiction. You need to be selfish that first year of recovery. If anything is going to hinder your recovery that first year, get rid of it. Trim the fat. Gone. As far as being too old, no. Now, are you going to be able to connect with people if you're 60 and you got 20-year-olds? Probably not. So find that demographic that you can fit in.
You tell Bob Louie and Steve Gowdy that. Just saying.
Right.
You're not too old. There you go.
But no, you're never too old to lead a group. What was the other part of it?
So the difference between groups or leading a group and serving, how long do you have to have clean to serve?
Oh, yeah. I would say 3 to 6 months. I was 6 months before I even thought about serving. I was still on the fence of, is this really going to work? Is this really for me? And I started greeting at the front door. I would tell you the majority of the people that have come through here have started at the front door. The majority of our staff has started serving, and then they got on staff. Very rarely anymore are you going to find people who just kind of walked in. Usually, we look at our people internally, and we're like, man, he started here, and then worked here, and then got here, and then, we're crazy if we don't hire them, right? I mean, they were crazy for hiring me because let's just be real. But no one else really wanted this position. I was like, hey, let's do it. But no, I would say 3 to 6 months. I mean, if you are comfortable in your own skin in 3 to 6 months, serve. Greet at the front door, check in, make coffee, rotate with people. I mean, if we've got 10 people at the door, rotate. Use 1 month, you serve. Next month, you're off.
You got a job the first night at the door.
Yeah, I mean, just do that. As far as groups, that is the most important thing you will do here. And it's the other part of the question that I was thinking of. The reason we don't have a group for depression and a group for anxiety and a group for, guys, one, you all don't want to serve. And if you do, you're not letting anybody know. We don't have enough leaders to have 40 groups. We are scratching the surface right now with the 20 odd groups that we have with leaders. The leadership team, who are supposed to be loving on the leaders, are having to lead groups because we don't have enough people wanting to stand up and lead a group.
Amen.
Now, again, don't come to me with 6 months and say, hey, I want to lead a group. Focus on yourself. And when you hit that year, let's hit the ground running. Let's take you somewhere. Or watch what your leaders are doing. And then when you get that year, say, hey, I think I'm ready. You could probably take over that group or help co-lead that group. That's what happened to me. I was in ChemDep. I was ready to go to 12 steps. And while I was going through the 12 steps, my leader saw something in me. And when we wrapped up, they came to me, hey, are you ready to lead a group? Let's go. And I started leading a group. So if you got a year, lead a group. But that's one of the main reasons why we don't have more than 20 groups is because we don't have the leadership. Guys, we just don't. Steve's been here for 15 years. I don't think he's ever had a co-lead. Luana's been here about the same time, and she doesn't have a co-lead. Kim Depp, right now, 1 leader. 12-step women's, 1 leader. Kim Depp women, 1 leader. Guys, we can't expand until we can have a lead and a co-lead. We can't get to North Campus until this is healthy here. Period. You want to see us expand? Step up. Quit letting fear and doubt hold you back. Because if you do that, you're not benefiting yourself. Because giving back is one of the best things you can do.
Amen.
I get more out of giving back to other people than I do from giving. Seeing you guys every Monday, you guys are one of the main reasons why my sobriety's in check.
Yeah. Yes.
Because you guys are awesome.